5 worst movies with 0% Rotten Tomatoes score. The American Movie Factory churns out around 600 to 700 plus movies annually. And just like other factories, Hollywood also produces defective goods. In this case, regrettably bad flicks. What could be more excruciating than being panned by critics and movie audiences alike in a widely followed review aggregator site like Rotten Tomatoes? Well, these movies are certainly flattered to get green splattered tomatoes for being, the worst. Number 1. Jaws: The Revenge, 1987. The 1975 original Jaws movie, directed by Oscar winner Steven Spielberg, had Jaws dropped because of pure amazement. Unfortunately, this 1987 sequel had many Jaws locked due to utter disgust. Critics uniformly avow that the storyline is illogical and flawed, with many unbelievably ludicrous scenes. Like, how can the killer shark follow the Brody family from Massachusetts to the Bahamas in 72 hours, all for the sake of vengeance? I'm gonna find ya. I'm gonna get ya. You have to suspend your intelligence just to be convinced that the great white is that intelligent. Also, the ho-hum predictability and lack of jolting shark attack scenes make this sequel a big bore and a fest for snore. The movie's special effects are likewise below par, which prompted the 8th Golden Raspberry Awards to honor it with the worst visual effects plum. It's such a disaster that a cast member, the respected Michael Caine, later admits, "I have never seen it, but by all accounts, it is terrible."
I knew that.
At the end of the movie, the shark fails in its vendetta against the Brodies, but this hilariously inept sequel succeeds in killing the franchise altogether. Number 2. Derail, 2002. If most of you haven't seen nor heard much of this 2002 Jean-Claude Van Damme action caper, it's mostly because the movie's annoying sloppiness derailed its theater exhibition. In this direct-to-video fare, the Muscles from Brussels plays the role of a one-man hero who derails an out-of-control train to recover dangerous bioweapons from terrorists and, of course, save the passengers on board. Sounds like a Die Hard clone that takes a slice off Passenger 57, eh? It should have been an adrenaline-pumping train ride, but instead ends up being an excessive mess of cliches and god-awful direction.
I've got to stop this train.
Virtually every visual trick used in filming, slow-motion shots, instant replays, and grainy footage is rampantly overused.
You're no fun, you know that?
If that isn't enough for your annoyance to reach saturation point, wait till the CGI-driven stunts fill the screen. Van Damme's motorcycle ride atop a speeding train and the extremely fake staged train crash are enough to drain your sanity. And the actors' performances. Oh, it's the last nail that finally sealed the B-movie inside the coffin for the worst flicks in history. Number 3, Cabin Fever, 2016. Was Eli Roth expecting to duplicate or exceed the modest success of his 2002 Cabin Fever with the 2016 version he co-wrote and executive produced? He was in for a nod as the remake took a heavy, feverish beating from practically everyone who painfully watched it. The almost shot-by-shot remake has the same characters and setting, exactly similar plot, and almost the same dialogue as the original film.
Man, you're not looking so good.
I don't look so good!
So what went wrong? To begin with, the original is no masterpiece at all, so the point of Xeroxing it is baffling, making the modern version purposeless. 14 years later, the story about a gang of fresh college grads ravaged by a flesh-eating virus while vacationing in the woods has lost its novelty and dare-to-scare power. Even if the new director stamps his own touches in the copycat version, still the uninspired remake reeks of antiquity. So, for horror junkies who know the genre like a second skin, there are a million reasons to ditch this pointless remake. Number 4, Return to the Blue Lagoon, 1991. The smashing box office success of the original Blue Lagoon in 1980 catapulted Brooke Shields and Christopher Atkins to fame, despite generally bad reviews. After a decade, the sequel featuring a skimpy-clad Mila Jovovich and Brian Krause proves that paying tribute to the original's formulaic storyline can plunge the movie into an obscure doomed lagoon. Return to the Blue Lagoon is a huge commercial dud and a critical disaster too.
I think this is a good movie.
It's supposed to be a sequel, but it's actually a déjà vu. An attractive boy and girl are left on their own in a lost tropical island. They appreciate nature, learn to live on their own, and eventually explore their sexuality. A very 1980-ish version. More familiarity breeds contempt scenes show a naive Jovovich showing her breasts and then covering them with her hair, just like Shields. Jovovich experiencing her first menstruation, just like Shields. Jovovich and Krause fighting, then feeling awkward, and later swimming on the back of a turtle, just like Shields and Atkins.
I don't know.
It's just so unfortunate that the lush scenic location in Fiji and the attractive stars engaging in sexually provocative acts fall short in saving this movie from being one of the most ridiculous sequels ever produced. Number 5, Mac and Me, 1988. Every movie starring a charming kid is always a crowd pleaser, especially if it involves a mysterious yet sympathetic alien.
Get away from it.
Unfortunately, there's always an exception, and unanimously, it would be the 1988 sci-fi adventure film Mac and Me. It tells the story of Eric, a wheelchair-bound boy who befriends Mac, as in mysterious alien creature, and helps it reunite with its extraterrestrial family.
You got a problem here.
Sounds familiar? Or more aptly, does it sound shamelessly familiar? Critics mercilessly slam the movie as devoid of originality for its downright duplication of Steven Spielberg's phenomenal film E.T. Another major turnoff is the relentless product placement in sequences showing Coca-Cola,
He took my Coke, Mom.
Sears, Skittles, and McDonald's. Mac even dances with Ronald McDonald in one scene.
How's it going?
Perhaps promoting the viewers to ponder if the alien and the mascot are long-lost siblings. What was the film's director Stuart Raphael thinking? Definitely he never thought of getting the Worst Director Award in the 9th Golden Raspberry Awards for his failed attempt to be Spielberg-like. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to our channel for your daily fix of awesome infotainment.